Gantt chart. It's quite straightforward. You look at this one first. So pay attention. I'll run through these ones quickly. They don't ask you to draw these ones, but we know it's a planning tool. It could help you do what I talked about, get a flow of work from start to finish. This is an example of network diagram generated by a software called MS Project. So once you list all the activities here, you break it down nicely. You input the duration, the start date, the finish date, the dependencies. It will naturally automatically draw the Gantt chart for you and show the relationship between the various activities. So if you look at this activity, when it's done, this will start. When this is done, this will start. When this is done, this will start. That's one piece of it. If you look at this and that, this and that are starting at the same time. So that's another piece. And this is also starting with that, but it's longer. That is a flow of work. Then you look at another part of the project, this and that going at the same time. But the ones that we have in red, they are critical activities. We'll talk about them. So this will show us the pattern of work, how the work will flow from start to finish with the various resources. They are not drawn to scale. If you draw them manually, they are not drawn to scale. So we should see an example. What you saw this. So what can you say about it? Easy to do, aren't they? So there are benefits in there. Excellent visual aid. It gives a good representation of the work. Easy to understand. So what we usually say is you could have a question on that. We'll be looking at the network, which is a little bit sophisticated, quite difficult to understand, not that easy to teach to people. So when you have a presentation for your stakeholders, and you are supposed to show how the project will run from start to finish, and you are torn between two tools, Gantt chart and network diagrams. We are saying that use the one that is easy to understand. Remember, communication, bottom line is understanding. You may have a lot of people in your stakeholder community in that meeting who may not understand Gantt chart or probably understand network diagram. But the Gantt chart are easy to picture, easy to understand. So if they ask you to paint a picture of how the project will run from start to finish, it would be better to use the Gantt chart. Why? Because they are easy to understand. You saw that. And easy to create, easy to explain, is widely used. So chances are that some of them may be familiar with the Gantt chart. Establish the sequence of work from start to finish. Already talked about it. Useful for simple resource scheduling. So I can use this to schedule resources, especially human resources. And we'll see that I could tell who will be doing activity A, B, and C. I could just put their names on it. If it's physical resource, I could also do that. Disadvantages. They become very cluttered and difficult to follow when inter-task links are added. So when you add the links, finish, start, and all that, constraint to put them in there, they become a little bit clumsy, cluttered, and may be very difficult to follow. Manually developed Gantt chart always need to be redrawn whenever schedule sensitive changes are made. I should have done this before coming back to this, so you understand it, but we'll work these ones out for you to get them. What if there are changes? You have to go and redraw. So this activity takes 6 days, and when it's done, the next one comes in. This one we've revised it is now taking 8 days. Then it means we have to go back and draw again. So if you don't have a flexible charting method like MS Project software to make this easy for you, and then it will be tough. If you are manually doing them, then it will be tough. You have to redraw all the time. That is why you need to basically wear the hat or the cap of the PMTQ, Project Management Technology Quotient. know the software you could bring in to make life easy for you, to help you do all these ones, because projects are fraught with changes. It could also lead to false sense of certainty about the project. It makes things seem too easy. So you see the Gantt chart. Oh, obviously, this is what we're doing. We'll do A when A is done. We'll do B when B is done. We'll do C. C and D will go at the same time. And when D is done, we'll finish off with project activity E. It looks quite simple, but project may not be that simple. So this could paint that false sense of certainty. So we need to explain to them that even though it looks that easy, it might not be that easy. Now let's look at an example. Like I said, nobody will ask you to draw this. I haven't seen any question on that. But you could have some table like this and ask you to determine the duration of the project. Still, I've not seen any question on that yet, but we need to know how to do this for your own personal consumption, own personal use. So let's go. How do we determine the duration of the project and also show the relationship between the project, between the various activities, and also show the pattern of work pictorially? Have a picture of the pattern of work. This is what we do. Use the Gantt chart. This might be very difficult to explain to stakeholders. If you are using this to explain the flow of work, it might be tough. If you are using this to tell the duration of the project, it might be tough because they might not get it on explaining from the table. So you need some tool to help you work out the duration and also work out the sequence of work. Use the Gantt chart. Some people call it bar chart, named after the inventor Henry Gantt. You develop your scale. So looking at this, we could do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, who can tell us the duration of the project? Looking on the table, what will be the duration? How long is it gonna take for us to finish this work? All right. Okay, so we start from the top. Activity A takes 5 days. So 5 is here. Always start from the top. This is your activity A. We're using finish start, FS. So you finish our start. A is a starting activity. That's the predecessor is the activity it depends on. So B depends on A, meaning when A is done, B can go. So A is done here. Leave a constant interval. B will go. So B will take 4 days. This is 5. You add 4 days, you have 9. 9 will be here. The durations are bigger. So let me expand my scale. Here, let me do 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So A is 5. 5 will be here. Finish start. When A is done, B will go. How many days? 4 days. 5 plus 4 will be 9. So 9 will be here. That will be for B. 4 days. Now, C depends on B. So what it means is when B is done, where would B finish? Here. If the same interval, then C will go. C is 3 days. 9 plus 3 will be 12. 12 is here. D also depends on B. So it's looking for B to finish here. So what it means is C and D are going at the same time, but D takes longer, 5 days. So this will be 9. 9 plus 5 will be 14. depends on D. So waiting for D to finish here, 14. It would take 4 days. 14 plus 4 is 18. 18 is here. So the project would take 18 days. So in exam, it will be tough. But I'll show you a trick. If they ask you something like this and you don't need to work out the table, work out the Gantt chart and come up with the answer that quick. I'll show you how you could do this. So using a Gantt chart, we had 18 days. Why? Because you had two activities going at the same time, C and D. And that's a time saver. C and D going at the same time. So when you are adding, I know how you guys got the 21, you added. If you're adding, look at in Karen, look at activities moving at the same time and use the highest number. So if you're adding, this is 5, this is 5, this and that are seen as one activity because they are going at the same time. So you pick the highest. This is 9. You pick the 5, not the 3, because they are like one activity. So you pick the 5, it becomes 14. Then you pick the 4, it becomes 18. If you add both, you get it wrong because they are going at the same time. So one is longer. Pick the longest, the longer duration and add that one, and that will give you the duration. Okay, that's a trick. If we were to have something like this in exam and you have to give a quick answer, you don't need to draw this. You may not have to draw this. You wouldn't have the time to draw this. Then you could work it out like how I showed you. All right. So if you have a project and you develop the activities, you have your activity list and you are allocated. So you go to the next process, estimate the duration, you estimate the duration, you sequence the activities, and you want to show a picture of your activity list, a picture of the sequence of work, use the Gantt chart. And as you do this, it will tell you the duration. Okay. That's basically it. Quite easy to do, easy for people to understand. So if you went to that party, sorry, not a party, I don't know why I'm talking about party. I went for a party yesterday. But if you went for that meeting and you had to present this and talk about the pattern of work, it would be good to show it in this fashion using this tool because it becomes easy for them to follow. It becomes easy for them to know how the project will flow from start to finish. Activity A will be the first activity. When we finish, we do B. When B is done, we do C and D. They go at the same time. When D is done, we do the last activity, E, and the project will finish.